With the election right around the corner, with mostly peaceful protests that more often than not end up being riots, threats of violence, overall societal breakdown, and civil unrest as far as the eye can see, I really just wanted to take some time today and talk about the 4 guns that everybody needs to have in their gun safe right now. Now, I know, you guys want to see new guns. You want to see shooting videos. That's what everybody's here for. If you guys want to help out with the cost and support the channel, just hit one of those Amazon links below before you do your Amazon shopping. Amazon throws me a little bit of kickback when you do that, and that's the money that I use to buy new guns, stock up on ammo, buy gear, etc., etc. The best part, it doesn't cost you anything other than the 2 minutes it takes to click that link before you go ahead and do your Amazon shopping. So the first gun on my list is going to be, obviously, an AR. This is my 10.5-inch PSA build that we did recently, and this is my go-to gun. Now, pretty much everybody out there has an AR of some sort, and that's why it's on this list. Personally, I'd go with a 5.56 just so that you can reliably use either 5.56 or 223 ammo. Now, there's a lot of arguments to be made as far as which is the better option, whether it's pistol length or rifle length. Regardless of whether or not you're using the 16-inch, 20-inch, 10.5-inch, they all have their pros and cons, but my personal preference is 10.5. At 10.5 inches, it's compact, it's lightweight, it's easily maneuverable in a urban type situation. One of the benefits to going with the 10.5 instead of, some of your smaller variants, 7.5 or whatever, at 10.5, it is still plenty accurate to use for whatever it is that you may need to use it for. I can use it for personal defense, or if the world's coming crashing down around me and I really need to put some food on the table, I can still get out in the woods and do that with my 10.5-inch. One of the big reasons that everybody needs an AR in their gun safe is commonality. There are just so many of them out there. Everything from, everyday citizens, military, law enforcement. There's millions of ARs out there. If shit happens to hit the fan, it shouldn't be too terribly hard to find replacement parts, mags, and ammo in the remnants of cities that have been abandoned or destroyed. The second rifle on the list is going to be the AK. You really cannot go wrong with one of these. Now, the debate between AK and AR, it really just boils down to personal preference. At the end of the day, the AK is one of the most reliable rifles that's ever been created. That's probably why it's seen so much use worldwide for so long. The 7.62 by 3.9 round is pretty common. Sure, the price has gone through the roof since I was in my 20s, but there's still a lot of it out there in people's hands. It's everywhere. Again, if society breaks down and we find ourselves in a position of total chaos, there's going to be a shit ton of AK mags out there. There's going to be a shit ton of AK ammo out there. So you might as well have one in the gun safe. There are a lot of variants of AKs out there. Everything from oddball calibers to different barrel lengths. I'd stick with something around the range of 16-inch barrel length and definitely go with the 7.62 by 3.9 round just because that's the round that everybody has. What matters is the AK as a reliable weapon. I can use it to defend the house, defend the family. If I find myself in a really bad position, yes, I can take that AK and go find some food. Again, my personal preference is going to be my AR pistol. That's going to be my go-to. But I do have an AK because you never know. If you can find AK ammo versus AR ammo, you've got choices. All right, pump action shotgun is going to be next on the list. That's right, I said it. Pump action. The basic design's been around for a really long time. I mean, we're talking 127 years. Let's call it 130. It's been around 130 years. It's withstood the test of time. Your standard pump action shotgun is easy to use. It is reliable. It's a great defense weapon. And if need be, again, I can use it to feed my family. Considering these guns have been used for 130 years, the 12 gauge shell is everywhere. I could probably find one or two in the couch cushions if I really dug deep down. Finding ammo for these guns if shit hits the fan is a definite possibility. The ammo itself is versatile. You have birdshot, buckshot, you've got slugs, rock salt, dragon's breath. I mean, if there is a target you intend to shoot at, there's a 12 gauge round for it. I can leave the house with my Remington 870 and I can go ahead and bring home a duck. I can bring home a deer. It all depends on the type of ammo that I have, the time of year that it is, and what my general location is. Once I get home from hunting down food, I can use that same shotgun for defending my property. I can use that gun to defend my family. If there are crowds of unruly rioters, shotgun's going to do its job very well. A pump-action shotgun is an absolute must-have if shit hits the fan. Sure, I've got other shotguns. I've got, multiple semi-automatic, magazine-fed shotguns with all kinds of crazy upgrades and accessories. If I'm seriously in a position that my life is on the line, or I've got to use that gun as a utility for, say, hunting, honestly, I'm going to put my trust in trusty old Remington 870. I've had this thing 20 years now. It came to me from my uncle. I couldn't tell you how long he had it, but it was probably at least that much. And someday when my son gets old enough, I will hand it down to him. I have no doubt in my mind that it will last him just as many years as it's lasted me and be just as reliable. Alright, last but certainly not least, and I know I'm going to catch hell for this, so let it begin. I am a Smith & Wesson guy, but 9mm Glock. It really doesn't matter what model, but you definitely need a 9mm Glock in your gun safe. If you haven't noticed yet, this video is based around the worst case scenario. We're heading into what may be remembered as the most controversial election in the history of this country. People in the far left have been threatening violence for a long time now. It's really starting to get out of hand. What starts as a peaceful protest regularly turns into riots and looting. Gets out of hand real fast. I mean, Portland had over 100 days of violent riots in a row. The further along we go, the worse it gets. So, this list is all about being prepared for the unknown. The 9mm Glock is the most common handgun in the entire world, hands down. It pains me to say that, it really does. Like I said, I'm a Smith & Wesson guy. My everyday carry is this Floyd's Custom M&P. I absolutely love this gun. I have no complaints whatsoever. Well, other than the fact that I only have one, and I'd really like to have two, but that's about it. Only complaint. But then you have the Glock, and as much as I'm not a Glock fan, it does have its positives. First and foremost, the mags, for the most part, are going to be interchangeable. So what I have here is a Glock 19. If I have the mag from a Glock 17, I can go ahead and use that in the Glock 19. Honestly, if you can find one, I would recommend having a Glock 19 in the safe. Now, why 9mm? Well, let's see. Military, law enforcement, private citizens, all for the most part are using 9mm. There's a lot of people using 45, 357, there's all these other calibers out there, but the most common cartridge is 9mm. So why not be set up for what's going to be the easiest to scavenge if need be? A Glock is reliable. They are easy to disassemble and clean. They have minimal parts to maintain or wear out. These guns can operate smoothly while they're dirty, and they are not picky as far as what kind of ammo you feed them, which is a definite plus in a real shitty situation. Lightweight, accurate, there's a lot of positives other than the fact that it's a Glock. Now, I guess if I found myself balls deep in the second year of the zombie apocalypse, I'd really want a 9mm Glock in my gun safe. I'm going to be able to find ammo for it. The gun itself is going to be reliable. The mags are interchangeable with other Glocks as long as they're the same caliber. It really is the most common gun that's out there. Okay, so maybe we won't get zombies. I don't think that's going to happen. The idea of zombies, it's a metaphor. It stands for chaos. It stands for anarchy, the breakdown of society, total lawlessness. A time where your own personal safety is only guaranteed by your own actions. Is it really that far-fetched to believe that we're going into an era where the only one that you can trust to provide yourself with personal safety is you? I don't know. That's a different video, I guess. But these guns are a great starting point. So that's it. That's my list. If you have one or more of these guns, you're definitely better off than if you didn't. Remember, folks, plan ahead, be prepared.